Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to day 72. Today we are in Deuteronomy chapter 5 to 8. Let me just bring up, oh, no, let me just bring my Bible up. Um, so remember, Deuteronomy is like a series of sermons just as our boy Moses is about to depart. And yeah, let's go. So I should probably share my screen as well. But yes, I'll share my screen because I can share my Bible. Okay, so let that. mm, yes. Okay. Cool. Moses is carrying on with his sort of speech, his sermon. Recalls the Ten Commandments that God gave to them. Recalls the circumstances under which they believed that they had come to the mountain, but when God spoke out to the fire to them, they were scared and asked for Moses to go and speak and not them. But Moses is sort of just he's recapped the Ten Commandments in Deuteronomy 5, um, recalls that little incident of them being scared of him, being scared of God, scared in the sense of a recognition of how incredible God is, because God was speaking to them. God had chosen to speak to them, um, and yeah, it's well within reason that if God has chosen to speak to them, He wouldn't destroy them, but they were so conscious of the fantastic nature of God that they shied away from that sort of personal contact and wanted Moses as a go-between. Uh, but even then, in Deuteronomy 5:29, God says this thing, oh, that they would always have hearts like this, that they might fear me and obey my commands. If they did, they and their descendants would prosper forever. So it's not just a fear and shy away, but it's a fear that's recognizing of who God is, and that then causes them to obey his commands, the same commands that would prove them wise amongst their peers, but then also that would lead to their prosperity. And if I'm looking down, it's because my son is stirring and I'm seeing if I need to dash up to catch him. Seems like he's going to sleep. I'm watching the monitor. This is real life, guys. He's not crying. His eyes are still closed. So looks like we're good. Anyway, in Deuteronomy 6, Moses continues to admonish them to have a wholehearted commitment to these things. God is, and the other thing I noticed, I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday, it stopped being the God of our forefathers, the God of Isaac, God of Abraham, God of Jacob, and it's now the Lord your God, right? And there is that sort of personal attachment to who God is. I don't know when that switch happened, but we've seen throughout the Pentateuch thus far. Yeah, anytime there's a reference to God, there is a reference. I am the God of your fathers. When God is speaking to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, there's a reference to the patriarch that came before. In as much as those instances result in his having a personal sort of re-establishment of the covenant with the individual. Um, I'm seeing after Jacob and the split into the 12 and the years that they spent in Egypt, so 400 or so, it was no longer just the God of our fathers. It was no longer Jacob's God. Sorry, it was no longer like Jacob and God having that interaction. There was now a promise that was given, to their fathers, that at the point at which they are even there, they don't think God is still with them. So remember when Moses went to Israel to say God is going to free you guys, I was like, if God is with us, why has all of this happened? Um, but now God is reestablishing that, and one way I'm seeing that come through is quite literally with this, the Lord your God. Um, and so, yeah, God is, Moses is calling them to like really just trust in God, dedicate themselves to obeying His commands, to blessing them, to serving God, to not test Him as they had, but to trust Him to drive out the enemies, to give them the land that He had promised to their ancestors, and that it will all be good. Um, and that sort of carries on in chapter 7. God is telling them He's going to drive out the people that inhabit the land now, give it to them. Um, and He warns again not to intermarry with them, with idol worshipping societies, because they will draw away God's people from Him, and He is a jealous God in the sense of He views this covenant very, very deeply. It's pretty much the same as a marital covenant, and so if your spouse is to go and then have relations with another person, we understand how painful that would be, and it seems God is demonstrating the same here. So, Deuteronomy 7 that goes on. Deuteronomy 7:7 really stands out to me because it points out something, right? The Lord did not choose Israel because they were the most of other nations. Indeed, it was 60 people that had gone into Egypt, and the promise was made to Abraham, not even to them. But at the point at which they are going round, they are the smallest of all nations. The nations that they are going to dethrone are much greater, much stronger than them. But it's also that they can't take credit for it. They have to know that it's God, especially when they look at the situation, which makes, again, their sort of trepidation when they first come to the land make all the more, well, all the less sense in that it's God that brought them out of Egypt. Like, they didn't win their own liberty, they didn't win their own freedom. It was God that brought them out of Egypt. Why would they not trust Him to do what He said He'll do? But yeah, it's more of, yeah, look, if you trust God and you do what He says, He'll bless you. If you don't, well, you know, He will punish you. And to observe the things that He calls holy, the Sabbath, the temple, all of these things. So that's a quick overview of Deuteronomy 5-7 as I'm making my way through it. Tomorrow's chapters are Deuteronomy 8-10. And God willing, I'll be here, maybe upstairs, um, with my main computer, not on the laptop, sort of looking at my nose. And we'll go through what we find. Cool. All right, I'm out. Peace.